everyone, good morning. We are from Group 3. In this occasion, we want to explain our material, Understanding Individual Behavior. But first of all, I want to introduce my group members. There are Larisa, Nathania, Zita, Gladys, Felicia, Situmorang, Asyh, Puja, Asyifa, Khadijah Raihan, and Dega, Alfariziy. So guys, enjoy the video! The first material for this chapter is about focus and goals of organizational behavior. So, organizational behavior focus on three major areas. First, organizational behavior looks at individual behavior based on predominantly on contribution from psychologists. This area includes such topics as attitudes, personality, perception, learning, and motivation. And the second, organizational behavior is concerned with group behavior, which includes norms, roles, team building, leadership, and conflict. Our knowledge about groups comes basically from the work of sociologists and social psychologists. And the third, organizational behavior also looks at organizational aspects including structure, culture, and human resource policies and practices. The goals of organizational behavior are to explain, predict, and influence behavior. Managers need to be able to explain why employees engage in some behaviors rather than others, predict how employees will respond to various actions and decisions, and influence how employees behave. What employees' behavior are we specifically concerned with explaining, predicting, and influencing? So, the 6 important ones have been identified. That the first one is employee productivity. Employee productivity is a performance measure of both efficiency and effectiveness. Managers want to know what factors will influence the efficiency and the effectiveness of the employees. Second one is absenteeism. That absenteeism is the failure to show up for work. It's difficult for work to get done if employees don't show up. The third one is turnover. Turnover is the voluntary and involuntary permanent withdrawal from an organization. It can be a problem because of increased recruiting, selection, and training costs and work disruptions. The fourth is organizational citizenship behavior or OCB. OCB is discretionary behavior that's not part of an employee's formal job requirements but which promotes the effective functioning of the organization. And the fifth is job satisfaction. Job satisfaction refers to an employee's general attitude toward his or her job. Although job satisfaction is an attitude rather than a behavior, it's an outcome that concerns many managers because satisfied employees are more likely to show up for work, have higher level of performance, and stay with our organization. And the last one is workplace misbehavior. Workplace misbehavior is any internal employee behavior that is potentially harmful to the organization or individuals within the organization. Workplace misbehavior shows up in organization in 4 ways. There are deviance, aggression, antisocial behavior, and violence.
Next, 14.2 Attitudes and Jobs Performance. Attitudes are evaluative statements, favorable or unfavorable, concerning objects, people, or events. They reflect how an individual feels about something. An attitude is made up of 3 components: cognition, effect, and behavior. A. The cognitive components of an attitude refers to the beliefs, opinions, knowledge, or information held by a person. B. The affective component of an attitude is the emotional or feeling part of an attitude. C. The behavioral component of an attitude refers to an intention to behave in a certain way toward someone or something. Job satisfaction refers to a person's general attitude toward his or her job. A person with a high level of job satisfaction has a positive attitude towards his or her job. A person who is dissatisfied has a negative attitude. Job satisfaction positively influences productivity, lowers absenteeism levels, lowers turnover rates, promotes positive customer satisfaction, moderately promotes OCBC, and helps minimize workplace misbehavior. There are 3 other job related attitudes we need to look at include job involvement, organizational commitment, and employee engagement. Job involvement is the degree to which an employee identifies with his or her job, actively participates in it, and considers his or her job performance to be important to his or her self-worth. However, organizational commitment is the degree to which an employee identifies with a particular organization and its goals, and wishes to maintain membership in that organization. Employee engagement is when employees are connected to, satisfied with, and enthusiastic about their jobs. Highly engaged, employees are passionate about and deeply connect to their work. Managers should be interested in their employees' attitude because they influence behavior. Managers should focus on those factors that have been shown to be conducive to high level of employee job satisfaction, making work challenging and interesting, providing equitable rewards, creating supportive working conditions, encouraging supportive colleagues, and survey the employee's attitude.
14.3 Personality. An individual's personality is a unique combination of emotional, thought, and behavioral patterns that affect how a person reacts to situations and interact with others. Personality is most often described in terms of measurable traits that a person exhibits. Just like attitude, it also affects how and why people behave the way they do. Researchers have attempted to identify those traits that best describe personality. The two most well-known approaches are the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator (MBTI) and the Big Five model. The MBTI measures 4 dimensions: social interactions, preference of gathering data, preference of decision-making, and style of making decisions. The Big Five model consists of 5 personality traits: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, and openness to experience. The 5 personality traits that help explain individual behavior in organizations are locus of control, Machiavellianism, self-esteem, self-monitoring, and risk-taking. Other personality traits include Type A or Type B personalities, proactive personality, and resilience. How a person responds emotionally and how they deal with their emotion is a function of personality. A person who is emotionally intelligent has the ability to notice and to manage emotional cues and information.
Perception. Stereotyping is one aspect of perception, which is a process by which we give meaning to our environment by organizing and interpreting sensory impressions. Research on perception consistently demonstrates the individual may look at the same thing yet perceive it differently. A number of factors act to shape and sometimes distort perception. These factors are in the perceiver, in the target being perceived, or in the situation in which the perception occurs. When a person looks at the target and attempts to interpret what he or she sees, the individual's personal characteristics will heavily influence the interpretation. These personal characteristics include attitudes, personality, motives, interests, experience, or expectations. The characteristic of the target being observed can also affect what's perceived. The relationship of a target to its background also influences perception, as does our tendency to group close things and similar things together. Learning. The psychologist's definition of learning is considerably broader than the average person's view that it's what we do in school. Learning occurs all the time as we continuously learn from our experiences. A workable definition of learning is any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of experience. Two learning theories help us understand how and why individual behavior occurs. Operant conditioning argues that behavior is a function of its consequences. People learn to behave to get something they want, or to avoid something they don't want. Social learning theory says that individuals learn by observing what happens to other people and by directly experiencing something. Managers can shape behavior by using positive reinforcement, that is reinforcing a desired behavior by giving something pleasant. Negative reinforcement, that is reinforcing a desired response by withdrawing something unpleasant. Punishment, that is eliminating undesirable behavior by applying penalties. Or extinction, that is not reinforcing a behavior to eliminate it.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about the contemporary issues in organizational behavior. There are two organizational behavior issues with a major influence on managers' jobs today. The first one is managing generational differences. The challenge of managing Gen Y workers is that they bring new attitudes to the workplace. The main challenge are over issues such as appearance, technologies, and management style. Finally, what about managing Gen Y? Gen Y employees want bosses who are open-minded, experts in their field, respectful of their generation, understanding of their need for work-life balance, providing constant feedback, and providing stimulating manners to have recognized and understand the behavior of this group in order to create an environment in which work can be accomplished efficiently, effectively, and without destructive conflict. The second one is managing negative behavior in workplace. What can managers do to manage negative behavior in the workplace? Workplace misbehavior can be dealt with by recognizing that it is there. Pretending that negative misbehavior doesn't exist or ignoring such misbehaviors will only confuse employees about what is expected and acceptable behavior. Carefully screening potential employees for possible negative tendencies, and most importantly, by paying attention to employee attitudes through surveys about job satisfaction and dissatisfaction.
In conclusion, in this chapter we have reviewed major individual differences that affect employee attitude and behaviors. Our values and personality explain our preferences and situations we feel comfortable with. Personality may influence our behavior, but the importance of a context in which behavior occurs should not be neglected. Many organizations use personality tests in employee selections, but the use of such tests is controversial because of a problem such as faking and low predictive value of a personality for a job performance. Perceptions is how we interpret our environment. It is a major influence over our behavior. Many systematic biases color our perceptions and lead to misunderstandings. Alright guys, thank you so much for the attention. We hope that our explanation gives the best benefits for all of us. See you later, bye bye!